Josh, tonight, deer are moving. What time do I need to be in the stand? Southeast wind, 8 to 15. Sunset is 6:26, I think.
Well, I was looking at the weather. I have the weatherman sitting with me.
So yes, elaborate on when I should go sit in the stand.
This is not going out in real time, so no one take this advice. Let's see, 6:25, 4 o'clock.
That's kind of what I was shooting for. One, I just didn't want to do anything else the rest of the afternoon. And two, I'm like, well, 4 o'clock
either
sounds
ruin
good.
your afternoon and go earlier,
or
be productive and go in a little later.
Can I split the middle? 3:30.
Oh yeah,
okay, that sounds good. 3, I like it.
You need to take a while to get ready.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a little chilly now. I'm not really prepared for this. Early season, I was going out, I was sweating my butt off.
66 today.
It's a lot better than 86 when I went out the last
true
time.
that.
Good grief. I was ready to strip down on my skivvies and hunt deer. Anyway.
Okay. There's your packaging for your jerky company, your branding.
Yep.
Dude, that's such a good idea. We can't ever be known as the owners.
No.
Guys, you just
I don't want to be associated with the owners of that company.
Yeah, this podcast will not be sponsored by that jerky company.
No.
But
thank goodness.
Let's see. Post-harvest. I said re-entry into the family.
Yeah. Which
it's
re-entry into the family.
Dang near what it feels like. You come back home and you're like, your wife has been pretty much a single mom for 60 days, 45 days, 60 days. And so you tell your kid to do something and your wife's like, I didn't tell him to do that. Then you realize my wife's literally been parenting these children without me. Yeah. And so, okay, yeah. He's come back in and you're like, I'm dad, eat your food.
Luckily, with my end of things, I was able to get home. Combine operator, you were stuck at the field. Mm-hmm. Being a truck driver, some nights I got home 6:30, 7 o'clock. You get the trucks to the field, the elevator's shut down. What am I going to do? Twiddle my thumbs?
Yeah, literally nothing.
I'm going to go home. I'm not. I feel bad. I'm not there with the harvest crew, but it was. My ground was done.
We didn't talk about that.
We'll get to that in a minute. My ground was done. We're on some custom stuff. Why do I need to be there? I felt guilty for not being part of the harvest crew. It's part of my operation, but at the same time, what am I going to do? Mm-hmm. So go home I did. And luckily, I was able to get some of those nights in with my kids. We sat there, we'd watch a cartoon, watch Bluey for a half hour and put them to bed, read them a story. And I was very blessed and thankful I was able to do that. And then there are a lot of people that don't have that luxury. A lot of guys like yourself who are in the combine, who are the guy that everybody depends on to have things done. You don't have the luxury of just going home. So our perspectives are different, but at the same time, I've been where you're at, not this year, but in years past. It's tough. Mm-hmm. It's tough because you don't see them. Like, Audrey goes to school. I'll be up. I'll be gone before they get out the door, and I get home at night, and they're not, they're asleep. So that's tough. That's tough not being able to see them for 2, 3, 4 days. So, and I don't know what it's like on your end, whether they're up before you or after you, but
I usually get up about the time I need to leave.
Yeah, so you get 5 minutes of, hey, bye, have a good day, good luck at work, Dad.
Yeah, and Christopher Wesley, he's a carry. Yeah. See you, Dad, I got leaves to burn.
Yeah, and he's old enough now, he can come spend half a day with you and be fine.
Yeah, Christopher's the tough one.
That's great, because if they get to the point they're old enough, that one night I was actually in a combine double cropping. They were cutting double crops. Case come out. Shelby, she said, take your son. I've had enough.
Your son.
Deal. So he rode with me in the combine from like 4 o'clock in the afternoon until 10 o'clock at night. And man, he loved it. Yeah. It was the greatest thing ever for him. So, Wesley and Case, they're old enough. Christopher's not quite there yet. And Audrey doesn't really care. She's got princesses and butterflies on her mind.
Right.
So
that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's where she's supposed to be.
That's right.
But yeah, it's a different deal. Thankfully, our wives are, they can get the kids to the field, get them there to us and let them ride and hang out, because that's about the only time we get to let them ride with us.
Yeah, we've thrown the idea around before of having a podcast with Harvest with the wives, and then we decide, it's okay.
There's some things they probably want to say about us that I probably don't want to hear.
I don't want a mic around here.
Yeah. But Shelby, she's great, because the other day it rained and she said, well, hey, now you can go deer hunting. I'm like, yes, I can.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I can.
Mine will say that. You just got to take one of the kids with you.
Yeah, right. And you did. You took Wesley. You sent me that Snapchat, you and Wesley walking to the deer stand. I look at radar. I'm like, they're going to have a fun night. Hopefully they don't blow away.
Boom.
Big red blob. I'm like, well, at least
And the next Snapchat you got pounding rain.
this is not an advertisement for 360 blinds, but I'm going to use it because I want
we're not
one
sponsored
now.
by them.
I want one of those now because of that situation. You can take the kids with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're quiet enough. They can do what they need to. They're going to be kids. It's just
Right.
part of it. And then also, rainstorm,
Don't matter.
we're great. So,
Snow, turn a little propane heater on.
but that was something you're taking advantage of the time you could have with him and got him with you. And those are things, they may not remember them, but he's getting old enough now. He's going to remember some of this stuff.
Yeah,
So it's very important to him.
sure. Well, he's dying to deer hunt right now.
Yeah.
So this. I've had this conversation twice in the last 24 hours with someone. I'll have a third time. I'm trying. He's 4 years old. He'll be 5 in April. He's 4.5. He's a fairly accomplished 4-year-old.
Yep.
I mean, he put slime in his own bike tire yesterday, and
Very independent kid.
very independent child. He has a house on the hillside.
I saw that back here.
Yes, that is his house. That's,
Okay.
Yes. Anyway, that's Dad and Mom's house over here.
He's growing up right.
This is
though.
Wesley's house.
This is
yeah.
awesome.
He wants to shoot a deer. He wants to shoot a deer bad. And I do. And so I've been trying to instill in him early management of our natural resources. You know, why I plant food plots. I have deer habitat. It's one of my biggest, it's probably my number one hobby is my deer hunting. I love it.
Yep.
The biggest deer in the woods used to be the only thing I wanted to do, wanted to hunt, whatever. Now I really just enjoy more taking care of more than anything. We as farmers, this will get me blacklisted by some people, we take everything, man. We farm all the way to the edge of the river. We farm all the way to the road. We farm all the way to the edge of the trees. Then we cut the trees back and farm more. You know, and then we get mad that they eat our beans and they damage our corn. It's like, dude, we take everything. And if we don't do that, it's grass and we hay it. So we cut all that away. If we do with that, we graze it. If it's big enough, we'll throw a fence around it and graze it. But that's kind of my little side tangent. You know, and so I don't know. I'm pretty passionate about the wildlife side. I love seeing the turkeys and the quail and the deer, and I hate raccoons, but
Well,
that's okay.
they're terrible right now. You think you have them thinned out.
I trapped 76 of them out of that cornfield right there.
Gee whiz.
76
And you still have a
raccoons.
problem.
And I still shooting the stupid things in the yard. But anyway,
It's like they just come out of the ground. Just here they are.
dude, I'm telling you. What was I talking about? Deer.
Deer. Yeah. Wildlife. How you like
Wesley.
Yeah. Wesley too.
And so he helps me plant the food plots, and he helps me, you know, he watches them, and we look at the deer pictures on cameras, and he helps me, you know, get the blind ready, and we'll go out and we'll plant trees, and we're doing all these projects together, and he loves going and doing it. And he, you know, he'll tell me, he's like, Dad, is this tree going to help the deer? I said, yes, the tree's going to help the deer, but it's going to take time because trees take time to grow. Anything worth doing is worth taking the time to do it.
And time is a interesting concept to a 4-year-old. They don't realize what time.
It's how far it takes to get from here to that door.
Yes,
That's time.
Yeah. They just don't grasp it. And that's fine. They're not supposed to.
Right.
You know, that's just the point of life.
Being a child.
Yeah.
And so, you know, he's 4.5 right now. And so I've been trying to make sure that he recognizes the meaning of life. You know, that life has value. If you shoot something, you're taking a life. You're ending a life.
Yeah.
And so how do I, and I don't know. Dude, I've talked to a lot of older men, and they say every kid's different.
Yep.
They're like, man, I know some older men that have no value for life.
No, they don't. And there are different. And you're bringing him up from the get-go, knowing what is happening and how you're doing things.
Right.
So he's going to understand. I think it's the right way to do it. I think he's going to understand growing up, knowing the proper way to manage wildlife and you know, the land.
And so I'm trying to, and dude, I'd love to take him out to shoot a deer.
Yeah.
Like I would, dude, what dad that, you know, and there's dads that don't hunt. Maybe they're into cars or racing or I don't know.
Well, that's what I didn't grow up hunting at all.
Right.
I grew up with
Heathman's new to hunting.
Yeah. This is my 4th year of deer hunting. I never hunted deer. I loved it. You know, we had a guy that used to come down as a guide service, and I absolutely loved going out with them. You know, I loved getting guys on deer.
Right.
But me myself, I didn't care. Didn't care. Just didn't. And now I've got a piece of ground that is mine, and I can develop it how I want to. And I'm like, you know, this is kind of fun. There's a lot of enjoyment goes into that. I'm putting the labor back into the land to develop for wildlife and deer hunting.
Yeah.
So it's very rewarding.
Oh, it is. And so I'm sitting here. I know part of me consciously and subconsciously wants Wesley to shoot a deer. Like just my what's the word I'm looking for? My selfish self.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I'm trying to put that aside. And is he ready? When do you know if someone's ready? And then, you know, and then valuing it all. And am I overthinking it? I don't know. I might be.
Yeah.
But, you know, and he's dying to go. Do I wait a year?
What you ought to do is take one of the deer decoys, put it on a cart, and have him go sit in his house and pull a string and pull that deer in front of him.
Oh, he'd kill it dead.
I know. That's just have him go through it.
He's shooting his mom's crossbow like better than anyone.
Is he really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. He went from having a little BB gun to blasting
Oh, dude,
away.
he's full
That's
sending
awesome.
it.
And that's something else, though, the respect for the firearm.
Yeah.
I am struggling with Case. I said, you got to take care of your gun. You got to keep the barrel up. You can't put it in the ground. He doesn't care.
Right.
He just wants to go play in the dirt. He has no desire to do anything, you know, critical. It's just, I want to go play. That's all he cares about. And that's fine. That's great. You know, he enjoys it. And
Then we'll give him a hammer.
we will give him, he loves having a hammer.
Yeah, that's right.
That is his tool of choice.
There you go.
But yeah, you know, teaching them how to properly use a firearm, how to have gun safety or firearm safety, you know, that's critical. And Wesley, he knows how to take care of his weapon. He knows how to take care of the wildlife. He is leaps and bounds ahead of most kids at that age.
Well, every kid's different, man.
Exactly.
Every kid's different.
But
It's not to say that, you know, it's like, oh, I've got this superior kid. He's
grown up around it and he understands it.
Well, and that's, you know, how to raise kids on a farm. You know, there's a lot of, you know, I'll go ride with dad, dude, it's not convenient taking a kid with you.
There's so much that can happen dangerous wise. And it's just like, in my mind, I hate to be a helicopter parent, but you look around and the sickle is sitting there. If somebody goes and turns the sickle and they're playing with it.
But equipment's so big and you can't see behind
you cannot.
so much. Well, the kid just walks behind a semi that's backing up.
Yep.
Can't see.
Most people, and most people, if you know the kid's there, they're going to look.
Oh, sure.
But things happen.
But you got a harvest crew. Everyone's tired. Did you remember to tell every single person I brought, you know, my kid to work today?
People are in a hurry. Things happen. And like you said, they're tired. Mistakes happen even to themselves when they're tired.
Oh, yeah.
So you have a 5-6-year-old running around. It's pretty rough, pretty sketchy.
It is. But at the same time, man, it is important to take them because I was told by a really wise old man one time. He said, a son will always want to do what dad wants to do. The reason they don't end up doing it is because dad didn't make it fun for him early on.
Yeah.
You know, it's no, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. Get back. Don't do that. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, we need to
an
be
extent.
careful.
Yeah.
No, you don't stick your hand in the middle of an acetylene.
And
flame.
at what point does that start being, you know, imprinted in their brain? Is it 3? Is it 7? Is it 15? You know,
I'll tell you, every kid's different.
So yeah, if you take them at 3, they may not remember it, but you take them at 7, they're more apt to be more able to help you.
Sure.
You know, or you know, hold things for you, help with tools. Now we can't be the one, hold that flashlight over here. No, you're holding the flashlight in the wrong spot. We got to watch that too.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's exactly it. And I don't know. It's how much. Dude, I mean, because our kids are our greatest project. We'll always have more crops. We'll always have more corn. Yeah. We'll always have, you know, something that is short term that we think is important, you know, but telling your kid, step back. No, I can't take you today. And
we've only got one shot to do it right.
We do.
You know, you stop and think, the years go by so fast. I can't believe Wesley's where he's at. I can't believe Audrey's where she's at.
Dude, yeah.
You know,
Audrey going to school this year.
She's
both hit both of us like she not even my own kid.
She loves it, man. I tell you what, that kid was born to be in the school system. She loves learning. She's she's just doing very well at it. But I blinked, you know, you and I were crop scouting just the other day with her just learning to walk.
Yeah, she's strapped in the car seat in the back.
Yeah, it just happened so fast, and we've only got one shot to do it right. And we got to find the time to take them with us.
Oh, yeah.
There's always a day where we're not doing anything. We can take them with us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's just trying to be intentional about that, you know, and I don't know. I encourage, if nothing else, I encourage young dads to, just, yeah, they're going to be loud. Yeah, they're going to slow you down.
Yep. Just go into that day knowing that you're not going to get as much done as what you want to.
Oh, right.
It's just part of it.
Right.
But they're going to take it with them the rest of their life.
Oh.
They're going to know. They're going to know that dad took them.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting if you sit down and think back, how many, if I just sit and really pay attention in the deer blind, that's when I get a lot of my thinking time in, is I remember different things as a kid, as a young kid, and what were the highlights, and most of them are when dad took me to do something.
Yep.
When dad took me to go camping, I remember that. And dude, I hate camping.
Yeah.
Right now, that's torture me.
That's where I'm at. I hate camping, but at the same time, I'm like, I need to take the kids camping.
I probably need to.
Just because it's something for them to experience. If we don't take them, somebody else will, and they'll have that memory of somebody else taking them to do it.
Right.
Which is, not all bad, but at the same time, you want to be the person
or
to do it.
Fishing.
Yeah.
When you're loading all the fishing stuff up, they're going to be throwing rocks 5 minutes in.
And tangled up, and,
Right.
and you just will not even take your own fishing pole because you're not going to fish.
You ain't going to fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have so much fun. And that's
Right.
what, and like you said, every kid's different. Took the kids fishing when Shelby was, about to pop with Scotty and Case. You throw that line out there and he just stared.
I can see. That's the way Case is.
He is so hyper focused on things. And then Audrey, she looked at it. Dad, fish ain't biting. I said, Audrey, it's been out there 10 seconds. Yeah, they're not biting. I'm going to go throw rocks. It's like she had no patience for that. So, and that's just funny. I thought it was going to be the other way around. I figured Case would want to go play or throw rocks, but man, he was into
focused.
it. He was into it big time.
I love that.
It was cool.
Hey guys, Ben and Josh here. We've been doing a blog once a month, kind of help us express out exactly how we work through problems on a monthly basis. And
it's pretty real life. It's dealing with real life problems
yeah.
on the farm. Typically, it's a vent session in short form. So, you want to check it out? Links in the description. Anyway, that's parenting, I guess. Parenting as a dad in the 30s on the farm.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
How do you? So you've had a bad day, like right there.
You mean when you do that and the bearing stays at the bottom?
Yeah. Tell me about how you composed yourself that day.
Well, at one time I did not.
Yeah.
So I had. This is just story time, I guess. I had a Case 2208 corn head, biggest pile of crap Case has ever made, in my opinion, of the equipment I've owned. I run almost all Case equipment, all my tractors, combines, Case. But man, they should have let someone else make the corn heads.
Yep.
And I know Trent feels the same way.
Yeah, he was ready to drive his off Creek Bank too.
Does he have 2208?
He had a 3208, I think.
3208.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so pulled this corn out. We're cutting corn. Go out, and first cornfield, man, sprocket blows up. Obviously, I replaced all of these brand new last year.
Yeah.
There's an idler arm. Is that an idler? What is it?
It's a tensioner arm.
Tensioner arm that this sprocket rides on. The bolt goes through. Bent up.
Oh no.
Anyway, that's pretty common.
Yeah. So your
2208s.
idler was running at
right. So
angle.
idler gets bent up.
Yep.
Blows the bearing out.
Yep.
Boom.
Doesn't take
Chain
long.
comes off. Chain gets bent. Chain gets. It's just a series of events. The whole row explodes. And so that happened. Oh my gosh. Okay. So call up Harrington. Harrington, you got any of these? Yeah. We only got sprocket. We don't have the idler arm. Okay. Well, I know I can straighten an idler arm, but I know that only gets me about 100 acres because now it's weak. Mm-hmm. Something about it. And it was worn.
Yeah.
It was freaking worn, man. And I'm like, I replaced the chains, the stock rollers, the knives, the snout, or not the snouts, the flutes at the end of the stock roller. Yep. I changed all the chains, all of the working parts,
you went through
other than the gearboxes last year, rebuilt the whole thing.
Yep.
Anyway, so go out and run up to Harrington. I told Sylvia, I said, Sylvia, run down to Hutchinson because I'll get going and I'll start cutting. I know within the next 100 acres I'll need this part. Go down and get 2 of them and get 2 of these. She comes back, I come back, beat her back, put this on. And anyway, I'm like, I'm going to check the rest of these. So why not? I checked it right before. We just started. Already blew one up. Pop all the rest of the snouts up. Oh, look, there's another one blowing out.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Now I'm out. I'm waiting for her. Get back, put the corn head back together. Go. Get to the end of the day, and it blows up again. And that was, let's see. That was a sprocket. There's another. I had another bearing go out, and then I had. It was the next day. It was more this stuff. The next day, the stock roller.
Yeah.
Comes off.
I was gonna say you lost the stock roller. At some
I
point.
lost a stock roller.
Yeah.
And on a case corn, I don't know. I've been around a Drago.
Yeah.
Fast forwarding.
Yeah.
This is shaft with a bolt. Anyway, this bolt goes all the way through the stock roller up into the
Drive
of the gearbox.
Yeah.
And so that bolt had backed out. The flute had fallen off. The stock roller had slid off. Lost the flute. Stock roller I found. Thankfully, it found it. So okay, got to find a flute. Nobody had one. No case dealership had one in the state of Kansas that I talked to.
Didn't.
Abilene Machine had one.
Really?
Yeah.
Of all
I got left. There's a right one and a left one. They're fluted
Yep.
differently.
Uh-huh.
Hunter was with me. Goes over and grabs one, comes back, and I'm like, man, threads were all boogered up. So I go in, I recut the threads, clean it all out, thread the bolt in, takes fine, cool. I put some red Loctite on it.
Yep.
So I'm hammering this thing.
Oh yeah, that'll hold, right?
Boom. Put it all together. Well, we made it 30 acres, and that thing comes off again. Anyway, you can't cut corn without stock rollers.
No, you cannot.
You can't.
You were probably just stripping it and dragging the roots.
Just piling up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it won't pull it down.
Yep.
And then you get so much mass the chains can't pull it in, and you're
Just a
screwed.
disaster.
Yeah. And so pulling it to get stock roller, find the stock roller, and dude, I go back and I find that flute too. And I couldn't believe it. And I'm sitting there and I look back in it. I clean the threads out again, super careful. And dude, once you booger threads,
Yeah, it's just you're gonna have a bad spot.
yeah.
Just
And
guaranteed.
anyway, it's boogered. Recut it. Lots more red Loctite.
Yeah.
Anyway, put that stock roller on, the snout on, drive the new bolt in, drive it home, and I'm sitting there and I just had my tools in the pickup, and I had an impact socket, and I've got a stock. I should go out and grab it, but on that flute, it's that bolt is recessed back down in there inside the end of the flute, and so I'm driving. All of a sudden, I'm not driving. It's just spinning. I'm like, huh. Oh, okay. Impact socket's just slightly too big.
I
It's
see.
thick wall.
So you couldn't get it in
I
there
need
and
a
get it
thin
tight.
wall.
Yep.
Anyway, which I had originally when I replaced it. So I go and grab a thin wall socket, go in there, drive it home. And I'm sitting there like, man, that thick wall was just... So I put that back on there. I'm like, So I take thin wall, drive that bolt home, thick wall, and I just lightly tap on it. Man, it starts to go in. And I'm like, So I'm like, bolt's tight. And I tap that thing in, and it took a fairly decent tapping.
Yep.
And that socket was stuck there. And I'm like, okay, I got an idea. I'm going to leave that there.
Yep.
Because it's going to hold that bolt.
The bolt won't come out because the socket's driven into the flute.
It's driven into the flute.
Yep.
Yeah. And anyway, it's going to hold that bolt. And by golly, it did.
It worked.
Yeah. Then more rows blew up.
And then you're just like, I'm gonna throw it off. Back.
Yeah. And so
See you later.
Day one, I told myself, I'm not going to make an emotionally based decision.
Yeah.
Or emotionally based purchase.
Yeah.
I've been wanting new corn head for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to keep going. Day two, thing blows up.
Bring me a corn head.
So I text my salesman. I'm like, do you have one of this model I'm looking for? He's like, yes, I do. Nah. I'm like, what's mine worth? He told me. And I'm like, wow. I didn't think he'd give me that for it.
It's a perfect storm.
You know,
Everything's
I'm like,
happening.
Nope, not doing it.
Uh-huh.
I'm not doing it. Day three, bring that stupid hair down here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It took 3 strikes and it's out.
Right. And I bought a Drago and just off the bat and look at it. And then you bought one.
Yeah. Why not do things, separate?
Yeah.
How long was it before I got mine? Was it like a week?
No, it wasn't even that much.
Yeah.
3 days, I think.
Because you got yours, and Trenton was upset with his, and he goes, we're either going to have to completely rebuild this thing or we're going to get a new corn head. I'm like, well, I've got a 30-foot Macdon that ain't going to be used. Let's just see what happens. Found one from the guy I actually bought my planter from.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'll work you a deal. We'll come get your header and shoot. 5-6 days later, we had a Drago, and Trenton's like, hey, let's go run it on this custom makers. We did. Never going back. Never going back.
We say that.
That Drago is amazing.
Man, that's pretty nice.
Yep.
GT.
Yep. Drago GT.
But anyway, so that's
Yep.
the story behind the blown sprocket. Man.
Well, that's
Oh,
just,
boy, I was mad.
It's amazing how frustrated and mad a guy can get. You know, the other day I was
Well, especially when you rebuild it.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. The other day I was combining and I was in some double crops, and the 35-foot head, you cannot cut across 30-inch row beans. You just can't. You'll split the sickle. So I was cutting at an angle, just tootling right along. We were going to have one of those 250-acre days we were having. I was like, man, we are rolling. Well, yeah, I shouldn't have thought that, because I was going along the side of a hill, poking along. Well, it hit something. The ground was uneven, and it pulled the sickle in two. Well, I was fumed, because I'm in my head, I'm thinking we're having a big day. This is going to be amazing. I pull it up there. I'll put a sickle repair kit in. I'll be back going. Well, we use the other
Sickle repair kit.
Yeah, it's a strap, a long strap, holds like 6 sections together, top and bottom.
Right.
And I thought, well, heck, we've got one here. It was missing a bolt. Couldn't finish it. I'm like, well, I'll just run to the shop. Well, I went to take the sickle apart to see what all I needed to make sure I had all the parts before I went to the shop. A section of the sickle fell out, and I'm like, oh gosh. If that falls out, there's nothing pulling. I'm relying on the sickle repair kit. This is just ridiculous. I'm screwed. I'm mad at this point. Dad comes on the radio. What's it gonna take to fix that thing? I said,
I'm
I
sure
don't
that's
know.
exactly how he said it.
I'm like, how in the heck do I know? I'm mad at this point. I'm like, I can't calm you down because I'm trying to calm myself down and get this fixed. And finally, I was like, you know what? The heck with it. I'm taking the header off, putting it on the trailer. I'm going to the shop. I'm getting the welder out. Did all that. And you know, as soon as I decided I was going to the shop, all my problems went away.
Yeah.
It was calmed down. Like I made a decision. I'm going to go fix this the right way. I'm going to take my time because I have the shop. I have all the tools. I have the welder. And so I got everything right. But like you said, some of these parts, why in the heck don't they do it right the first time?
I don't know.
You're 35.
It's not even a greasable bearing.
Right.
It's taking the most wear on the whole stupid head.
You know, these 35-foot drapers, they have those little strap pieces that go over by the sickle head, and then they stop about a third of the way down. Why in the heck didn't they put those all the way across? They're pulling from one side of the machine.
Yeah.
You'd think you have 2 bolts tied together with a strap would be stronger than just trying to ride on that bolt. No, because Trenton had broke the sickle 2 bolts from where I broke it from. And it was the last
on my field.
No, I don't know where it was, but he broke it, and 2 bolts later, where they stopped putting straps, is where that sickle broke again. It's just like, come on, it's a weak point, guys. Help me out here,
Right?
But yeah, like I said, in the moment, in the heat of the moment, things are just a little tense, and once you realize you're just gonna calm down, go fix it, everything goes better, goes a lot smoother. So yeah.
And my chopper bearing went out.
Yeah, that was bad. You sent me that Snapchat, and I thought, oh no, he's got big problems.
I thought it was the main drive.
I did too at the video, and I thought, oh geez.
Started up, squall. Anyway, what else we talk about from harvest?
Couldn't believe how much the elevators they were having problems.
Full.
Everything was full. Lines were terrible. I hit on this in that last podcast, but you know, I went to Bungie. We're harvesting Lyon County. We had 350 acres over there, and it's just simpler to go to Bungie. You know, just 2 miles away. You get there, and the line is not moving, and you're like, we have 60
a mile long.
60 bushel beans, and we have nowhere to go. It's like, well, we can haul them back to Strong City, which is 18, 20 miles, put them in a bin, and then turn right back around in 2 months and pull them out of the bin and take them back to Bungie. But who's to say Bungie's going to be working by then?
Right.
We don't know. But anyway, we finally got everything unloaded. They put a new scale system in, the key card system, and you got a lot of older gentlemen that don't like computers, and they're trying to teach them how to run a computer system or computer key cards. And man, there's a lot of upset old timers in the
Was
line.
there?
Yeah, there was a lot of hands being thrown. I rolled my window up. I'm like, I'm not going to get in the middle of this. hope they don't come bother me. But yeah, there was a lot of angry people up there at Bungie for quite a while. And even the other day, we were going up there with some double crops, and they had both pits open, but they had problems at the probe stand. So, you're dumping 2 pits, things are rolling good. Where's the next nearest problem going to happen? The probe stand. So everything came to a screeching halt, and the line got clear back around, 6-hour wait. Man, that wasn't fun at all.
No.
And then our local elevator in Strong City, they had the same issue. Where are they supposed to go with beans? Their end destination is Bungie as well.
Bungie or Cargill.
They're full, so where are they going to go? Luckily, they were able to go to Wichita. Once they went to Wichita and they were getting 6 or 8 trucks dumping, things went a lot smoother. But there for a little while, it was a little hectic. We ran out of grain bin space.
Yeah,
everybody was full.
Right.
Luckily, you were done, right? When all that was happening, but. That was not a turkey gobble. That was a machine. When metal on metal is happening like that, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, and it didn't catch fire.
I don't know how you didn't catch it on fire, because those combines are notorious for once those go
chopper
out.
bearings, poof. Especially for hot 40 mile an hour, 95 degree days we were having.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, you made it out alive. You made
Guess
it
I
out
need
alive.
to
We're
run
doing
that
all
thing
right.
another year.
Yeah.
So
what are you going to get next? What's your next combine purchase going to be? What do you want?
my next want or combine?
Combine. We're going to stick with combine. You want a different combine eventually, right?
Well, I'd like a 7250 or 8250. That's what I want.
All right, let's get technical here. Do you want the white rims or the silver rims? Do you want the
Chrome?
Mm-hmm. Chrome. Okay, not the blacked out, just chrome.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. With 4-wheel drive.
Are we talking about the once now?
4-wheel drive?
Nah.
No, I don't need 4. If you need 4-wheel drive, just go park it in the shed, right?
Yeah.
With a 35-foot draper continued on. No need for a 40.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
I don't think a 7350 or 7250 will handle a 40-foot.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I know it would.
Okay. Well,
Someone's got one.
But like I said, you may want one, but can you get around where you're at with a 40-footer?
I'm good with 35.
We've got the 35 and the 40. And the 40's nice, don't get me wrong.
Cover a lot of ground with that thing.
You can get a lot done. Now, I was running the 35-footer and I run the 40-footer. I run them both in the same day. I don't know if we necessarily need a 40-footer where we're at. By the time you cut terraces out with a 40-footer, you're leaving so much. And then creek crossings, we're pretty tight on creek crossings. You can see a 40-foot draper header go through some of our creek crossings, you'll be like, that's stupid.
It's your lateral tilt.
Yeah, lateral tilt's amazing. And then hopping down the county road, trying to get from one field to the other, road signs. 35-footer gets around so much better.
Yeah.
But 40-footer, they are nice.
Yeah.
So,
dude, I don't know. I don't know where markets are going.
I don't either.
I don't know where markets are going.
Yeah.
It's kind of who does, but it's one of them things I don't know how much do we leverage ourselves.
I've been wondering that for next year, gaining acres. I'm like, how much do I go with? Is Brazil planting right now? Are they going into their?
Yeah, they've been dry. They're getting some rain though.
So that's driving a little bit of the market.
But I don't know. We used to talk. All we talked about was South America.
Right.
10 years ago, South America determined everything.
Yeah.
Now for us, there's Russia, Ukraine, presidential election. By this time this drops, we'll have a new president.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and I think Ben hit on this point. If Trump gets in, I think we're going to see downward trends.
Could be rough.
I think we're going to see downward trends, but I think it's going to be bad, and then it's going to get better.
I think so.
Better.
I hope so.
I do too.
It's one of those things where historically, a Democratic presidency leads to higher grain prices.
Yep.
It's just a fact. I'm not saying that's right or that's whatever you vote, left or right, that historically, if you look at the facts, that's true.
The trends follow that.
Republican, grain prices go down.
Yep.
Now, government subsidies kick in. Well, I don't know. That's a whole nother ball game.
Yep.
So, anyway, yeah, it's a deal. We'll be all right.
Yeah, we will be.
We'll be all right.
There's always something that works out in our favor. It just seems like everything kind of works out for the better.
Right. Well, it's keep your farm as a business.
Yep. Treat it as a business.
Don't. I saw an interesting one. I follow this guy on Instagram. GTG something. Grain marketing. Some grain marketing guy. It just has a great view on things. It says don't treat your grain bin as a bank account. So many farmers treat it as a bank account. I need some money. I'll go sell some beans.
Yep.
Well, that isn't really a marketing plan.
No, that's just like you said. It's just a bank.
It's a bank account. High risk bank account. Anyway, I don't know. That just hit me. I'm not a grain marketer, but no, there's no but. I'm just not a grain marketer.
No, we aren't. We try to make decisions that fit our operation, but yeah, we are definitely not marketers at all.
Well, it's tough to contract grain when markets are down right now.
Yeah,
it's tough to contract corn at $4.50 for next year.
The outlook doesn't look promising for grain marketing,
right? Yeah, because then it's $4.50 for next year. Man, what if it goes up?
A year ago?
What do I ask? Yeah, a year ago?
We had so much optimism. You and I both
$6 corn.
Yeah, we locked in some $6 corn. Made us feel really good. And same with beans. This summer I locked in a few thousand bushel at $12. I'm like, man, that's great. I don't know why I didn't do any more, but
right.
But at that time it was burning up. Things looked hot and dry. I thought, I'm not going to have any anyway.
Right.
I should have known better that, we're not going to have complete failures 2 years in a row. If we do, a bigger problem than that.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we are definitely not grain marketers.
No. I think the most effective thing a farmer can do is remove as much emotion as possible. Have a target goal. If you want to make $100 an acre, these are your inputs. This is your yield. This is your projected yield. This is your insurance guarantee. How much do you need? If you want to make $100 an acre and you hit that $100 an acre at $4.20 corn, and corn is $4.20.
Yep.
Hey man, if you're not a farmer, if you are in any other business and you hit the projected goal, you'd pull the trigger.
Yep. Well, and ignoring that last nickel, like your newsletter here, however long ago it was, if you're at $4.95 and you're hoping for $5, come on, just pull the trigger. I know you remove the emotion
on 10,000 bushels of corn.
It's a nickel.
Yeah,
it's a nickel. Come on.
Was that $500?
Yeah, something like
$500.
So just if you're close to that goal point, take it. Because more often than not, guys will look at that and think, I'm going to hold out for $5. I'm going to hold out for $5. It goes down to $4.85. It's like, gosh darn it, it was right there. It's going to go back. I'm going to wait.
And then $4.68,
and then it's down to $4.50. It's just like, well, maybe if I can get $4.75 again.
$4.75.
You lower
That's
your
right.
goal, and then next thing you know, it's $4.25. It's like, well, it's going to go back to $4.50.
Yeah. At $4.40, I'm going to sell it all.
What was wrong with $4.95? If you're hoping for $4.50, what was wrong with $4.95? That's the thing. If you take the emotion out of it and look at it the dollars and cents standpoint, $4.95 is a heck of a lot better than $4.50.
You ask a timeless question, Heathman. When to sell?
When to sell?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know. I've sold at so many different points at farming that used to be an old farmer told me the best time to sell beans is when you're planting them. But
my dad always said that.
I've heard that so many times now.
May.
And that has worked.
Well, it's when we're planting them.
That has actually worked a lot of times, but the last couple of years, it has not.
Harvest has been the high.
What do they say? Sell your corn in July or something like that, or August, best time to sell. Hasn't been the case.
No.
It was another case where sell it at planting time.
Yep.
Sell it as you plant it. But is that going to be the same next year? Beats me.
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I wish I could tell you.
Right.
But I don't. But yeah, you look at the trends and they always said sell at planting time. And that hasn't been the case at least the last 2 years. I don't know how far back it goes, but I know the last 2 years that has not been the case.
Yeah.
So when to sell? I don't know.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Just control what you can control.
Exactly. Yeah. Focus on farming practices. Do a better job.
Yeah.
Do things the best way you can. And like I said, take the emotion out of marketing and you'll be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Get some good people around you.
Yep.
That helps.
Yep.
Helps a lot.
It does.
Even if they don't have an answer, just talking about it helps.
Yep. Talking through problems helps a lot.
Yep.
So what else do you think?
Heathman, what's your number one thing you're going to change going into 25?
Number one thing I'm going to change going into 25.
You got some big changes coming in 25.
Yes.
I'm not going to go into it, but
number one thing is focusing on my return on investment. I'm going to focus on trying to make a certain dollar per acre and watch my inputs, know where I'm at as far as my rent, my shares, how much is going different directions, because gaining a few farms this year. There's going to be some 50-50 share agreements. I've never dealt with that before in my short farming career. So there's going to be some adjustments I need to learn how to handle, billing, stuff like that. But as far as the big change I'm going to do next year is watching my inputs, watching the money I spend, because there's a lot of unknowns that I'm going into. And if I don't know what I'm going to make, I mean, we can sit here and figure the numbers as much as we want. We can have an idea, but without knowing exactly and having the experience of what I'm going to make next year, it's very, very important for me to watch what I'm putting into my soil, into my ground next year as far as inputs go. So I'm going to take what you worked on last year's inputs, keeping your goal at $100 an acre income. I'm going to try to implement that into my operation next year and see where I come out.
Sure.
So that's what I'm going to do.
Did I ask what you're going to change?
I don't know if
What's one thing you're going to leave and not take forward?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm going to probably, as far as leaving behind, a lot more emotion attachments. You know, I'm going to leave. There's a lot of things I've been emotionally attached to as far as ground and how things I've done, how I've done things in the past. I'm going to go forward and leave behind the emotional attachments. You know, there are things that I've been doing or equipment that I've been, you know, holding on to because I'm proud of it to have it. It's going to come down to dollars and cents and financials for me, and lose the emotional attachment I have to certain pieces of equipment and certain
Or way it's value.
or the way it's valued. Yes.
Yeah.
If it's something that's going to improve my farming operation and make me money versus making me feel good that I have that piece of equipment, I'm going to go with the money route. I'm going to go with the money route.
I let go of a farm this year because it was not a profitable farm. It's a pain in the butt to farm. And I kept it for reasons. I enjoyed going on it, walking around and some good deer hunting. But dude, I hadn't deer hunted it in quite some time.
Yep.
And I realized, I'm like, man, I'm going through all this for something I know I enjoy, but I'm not even doing it. And so, you know, I don't know. Yeah, boy, we hold on to some things for some strange reasons sometimes.
Yeah, and you know, to hit on that again, there's pieces of ground that I'm going to let go of after this year, just due to the fact gaining ground. I need to focus more of my time on the ground that's going to make me more money in the long term.
Sure.
I'm going to focus my inputs on ground that will give me the return versus I'm going to throw, for example, I'm going to throw $100 an acre at this ground, hoping it makes me 20.
Yeah.
It's not going to do that. I need to stop.
And we know
like
it.
We know it. We've seen it.
We know it.
Yeah, we know it is not going to give me that return. So instead of farming it, basically playing with it, playing up there, it's going to go by the wayside. I'm going to take that energy that I could have put into that ground, and I'm going to put it into ground that will give me so much more return and long-term, you know, improvement.
Yep.
So that's what I'm going to look at.
Okay. I like that.
Good. I'm glad you do.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know what I'd do if you didn't.
Either way.
Yep.
Right. Cool. Okay. That's all I got, man.
Sounds good to me. Again, Ryan Gibbs.
The goat, the seed goat. Heathman.
Yep. Farm
Appreciate
on,
your
pal.
time.
Yeah, you bet.
That's right.
You bet.
Farm on. Over and out.
See ya.